All right, let's kick off this deep dive, and we're going for a full sprint through a stack of articles from rockingultra.com.
Oh, awesome.
They really have a ton of content about
Yeah.
all things running. So
Yeah.
whether you're just, lacing up those shoes for the first time or you're a seasoned ultra marathoner,
Yeah.
they've got something for everyone.
Yeah.
And they even get into the mental side of running,
Yeah. Absolutely.
which, let's be honest, is huge for staying motivated and keeping a balanced approach to all of it.
Yeah.
And just a heads up, folks, today you're hearing your AI guides
Right.
summarizing these articles.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we're going to make sure to point you to the full articles on their blog
Mm.
and even their books on Amazon
Oh, cool.
if you really want to,
Yeah.
dive deeper.
It's like the full experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
That's really cool that they have books too.
yeah, they've got a lot going on over at Rockin' Ultra.
That's fantastic.
And so are you ready to hit the ground running?
Let's do it.
Today we're tackling an article titled, Disclaimer, No Nutritionist, No Problem. But maybe get one eventually.
Oh, interesting.
It grapples with a question I think a lot of runners ponder.
Yeah.
Should you prioritize running to lose weight or losing weight to enhance your running?
That is a good question.
Yeah,
A lot of people think about that.
the chicken or the egg kind of thing.
It is.
The article, of course, starts with a disclaimer,
Right.
reminding everyone that this isn't a substitute for professional medical advice.
Yeah, of course.
If you have any underlying health conditions,
Right.
it's always wise to consult with your doctor or a registered dietitian
Absolutely.
before making any significant changes
Mm-hmm.
to your diet or exercise routine.
Always good to be safe.
Right, safety first.
Yeah.
It's like getting your shoes fitted, by a pro.
Right.
You want to make sure you have the right support for your journey.
Yeah.
But back to the main question.
Okay.
The article points out this interesting symbiotic relationship between running and weight loss. They
Yeah.
sort of feed into each other, don't they?
Absolutely. Running can help you create a calorie deficit, which is essential for weight loss.
Right.
And losing weight, in turn, can make running feel easier,
Yeah.
less impactful on your joints, leading to improved performance and reduced risk of injury.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing.
So it's not as simple as just picking one or the other,
No.
but the article gets real about the, calories in, calories out equation.
Okay.
You burn a decent amount of calories running, right?
Right.
But then you have that post-run snack and poof,
Oh, yeah.
you've potentially eaten all those calories back.
Right back in.
And you're like, what was the point?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where mindful eating comes in.
Okay.
The article uses this really relatable example.
Okay.
Imagine treating yourself to a large cappuccino and a muffin after your run.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, that calorie deficit disappears.
Right.
So it's a good reminder to be mindful of those portion sizes and the nutritional value of our, post-workout rewards.
I've definitely been guilty of that.
Oh, me too.
It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking,
Yeah.
well, I earned this.
Right. You deserve it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it seems like the key takeaway here is that even though running burns calories, it's not a free pass to eat whatever you want.
Precisely, running is a valuable tool for weight management.
Yeah.
But it's not a magic bullet.
Right.
It needs to be paired with a balanced diet to achieve sustainable results.
What about the afterburn effect?
Oh,
Everyone talks about this magical boost to your metabolism.
Right.
Does the article debunk that?
It clarifies that while running does increase your metabolism, the afterburn effect isn't as dramatic as some fitness marketing might lead you to believe.
Okay.
Especially when compared to other forms of exercise like high-intensity interval training or weightlifting.
Right.
The metabolic boost from running is relatively modest.
Interesting. So it's not like you can go for a run and then, sit on the couch for the rest of the day,
Yeah.
expecting to torch calories.
Not quite.
Not quite.
But it's still a valuable component of a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
And speaking of challenges,
Okay.
let's not forget about the hunger monster that often rears its head after a good run.
Right.
Why does that happen?
I know.
I know.
Well, the article explains that it's your body's natural response to the energy expenditure of running.
Yeah.
It's essentially saying, hey, we just burned a bunch of fuel.
Right.
Let's replenish those reserves.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, whoa, hold on. I just did all this work.
Yeah.
So understanding those biological cues is crucial for managing those cravings.
Yes.
And avoiding that overeating that could sabotage your weight loss goals.
For sure.
So we've talked about running for weight loss.
Okay.
But let's flip the script.
All right.
Why is losing weight beneficial for your running game?
The article highlights 3 major advantages. reducing strain on your joints, boosting your performance,
Okay.
and increasing the overall enjoyment of running.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this whole joint relief thing, because
Okay.
I've definitely experienced my fair share of aches and pains
Yeah, me too.
as a runner.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
Every time your foot strikes the ground while running, the force exerted on your joints is several times your body weight.
Wow.
So even a small amount of weight loss can significantly reduce that impact, protecting your knees, ankles, and hips from wear and tear.
Wow, I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah,
So even shedding a few pounds can make a difference in the long run, literally.
it really can.
Okay.
It's like giving your joints a much-needed break.
Right.
And it's not just about feeling better. It's about preventing common running injuries like shin splints,
Right.
stress fractures, tendinitis.
Okay. Makes sense. What about performance?
Okay.
How does losing weight translate to faster runs?
The article cites research that shows a direct correlation between weight loss and improved running times.
Interesting.
For example, reducing your body weight by just 5% could lead to a potential 10% improvement in your running speed.
That's a pretty impressive statistic.
It is.
So if I'm understanding this correctly,
Yeah.
dropping even a few pounds can have a significant impact on how efficiently and quickly I can run.
Absolutely. It's all about optimizing your body mechanics.
Okay.
And perhaps the most compelling benefit,
Okay.
as the article highlights,
Yeah.
is that losing weight can make running more enjoyable.
Okay, now that's something I can get behind.
Yes.
Who wouldn't want running to feel less like a chore
Yeah.
and more like fun?
Right.
Exactly.
Imagine feeling lighter breathing, easier, and recovering faster.
Right.
Those positive changes can transform your entire running experience,
Yeah.
making you more likely to stick with it in the long run.
So it's not just about aesthetics.
Yeah.
It's about enhancing the overall experience of running.
I like that.
I like that. But let's get practical. What specific steps does the article recommend
Okay.
for those looking to optimize both their running and their weight?
It emphasizes a multifaceted approach, starting with nutrition.
Okay, let's talk fuel. What are the key takeaways
Right.
when it comes to nutrition for runners?
The first step is to be mindful of those calories.
Okay.
The article suggests utilizing apps like MyFitnessPal to track your daily intake
Right.
and create a moderate calorie deficit,
Okay.
aiming for something in the range of 300 to 500 calories per day.
So no need to resort to those crazy crash diets.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
The article strongly cautions against severe calorie restriction.
Right.
Especially for those who are actively running.
Yeah.
It can lead to fatigue, muscle loss, and hinder your body's ability to recover properly.
Makes sense. So what should runners be focusing on when it comes to their diet?
Prioritizing whole nutrient-dense foods is key.
Okay.
Think lean proteins, complex carbohydrates, and healthy fats. Essentially, ditch the processed stuff and load up on foods that fuel your body and support your training.
Okay. Ditch the junk food. Got it.
Yes.
But what about those tempting liquid calories?
Oh, yeah.
A post-run smoothie or a celebratory beer?
Oh.
Are those off limits?
The article suggests being mindful of those liquid calories.
Okay.
Alcohol, sugary sodas, and even those seemingly healthy fruit juices
Right.
can quickly add up and negate your progress.
Yeah.
Remember that example we talked about?
Yeah.
One glass of wine can have the same number of calories as running a mile.
Wow. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So maybe save those celebratory drinks for special occasions.
Yes.
And what about fueling up before and after? Runs any specific tips there?
The article stresses the importance of small, balanced meals to help manage hunger and prevent those post-run binges.
Okay.
Including protein with every meal.
Okay.
Can help you feel fuller for longer.
Sounds like a solid strategy. So we've covered nutrition. But what about the actual running part? Any tips for beginners or those who are getting back into it after a break?
The article advocates for a gradual approach.
Okay.
Don't try to sprint before you can jog. It's all about building up your endurance gradually and minimizing the risk of injury.
Right.
Starting with a walk-run-walk method can be a great way to ease into it.
That sounds much more manageable.
Yeah.
And what about the whole no pain, no gain mentality?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
pushing yourself to the limit always the best approach?
The article actually debunks that myth.
Okay.
It emphasizes consistency over intensity,
Okay.
especially when you're first starting out. It's
Yeah.
much better to run regularly at an easy conversational pace
Okay.
than to go all out and risk getting sidelined by an injury.
Okay, slow and steady wins the race, right?
It does.
But what exactly does running at a conversational pace mean?
No. Good question.
I'm a bit of a newbie when it comes to all this running jargon.
It simply means running at a pace where you could comfortably hold a conversation without gasping for air.
Right.
If you're too out of breath to chat with a running buddy, you're probably pushing too hard.
That's a helpful tip.
Yeah.
And speaking of helpful tips, let's move on to another crucial aspect of running that's often overlooked.
Okay.
Recovery.
Absolutely.
It allows your body to rebuild and adapt, making you stronger and more resilient in the long run.
Yes.
And hydration plays a crucial role in that recovery process.
Yes, it does.
So it's not just about guzzling water during a run.
Right.
It's about staying hydrated throughout the day.
Yeah.
Does the article offer any specific guidelines for hydration?
It suggests aiming for at least half your body weight in ounces of water per day.
Okay.
And pay attention to those thirst cues.
Okay.
Sometimes what we perceive as hunger is actually our body signaling that it needs more fluids.
That's a good point. I've definitely mistaken thirst for hunger before.
Yes.
And speaking of food, what about carbs? Should runners be cutting them out to lose weight?
That's a common misconception.
Okay.
The article explains that many beginners mistakenly slash carbs,
Yeah.
fearing they'll hinder weight loss.
Right.
But the truth is, carbohydrates are your primary fuel source for running.
Okay.
So don't be afraid of them.
So it's all about choosing the right type of carbs
Exactly.
to fuel your runs.
Yes.
Makes sense. But how can you tell if you're making progress if the scale isn't budging?
That's where those non-scale victories come in.
Okay.
The article encourages you to celebrate improvements in your stamina.
Right.
Better sleep, a happier mood.
Yeah.
These are all important milestones to acknowledge and appreciate.
I love that it's a great reminder that progress isn't just about a number on the scale.
No.
It's about how you feel and how your body is responding to your efforts.
Exactly.
But let's be real. Sometimes we hit plateaus or feel stuck in a rut.
Right.
What does the article suggest for those times?
It emphasizes that it's okay to reassess your caloric intake and running plan. If you're not seeing the results you want or you're feeling overly fatigued, don't be afraid to adjust as needed.
Okay.
It's all about finding what works best for your individual needs and goals.
That's a great reminder. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from nutrition to training to recovery. But before we wrap up part 1 of our deep dive into rockingultra.com's wisdom, the article highlights some common pitfalls to watch out for. What are those?
One big misconception is that running gives you a free pass to eat anything you want. It's important to remember that diet still plays a huge role in weight loss and overall health.
Yeah.
Running can help create that calorie deficit, but it's not an excuse to overindulge.
Right. Running isn't a magic solution to undo unhealthy eating habits.
Right.
But it's good to know that it can help tip the scales in your favor.
It can.
So to speak.
Yes.
What was the other pitfall the article mentioned?
The other one was neglecting strength training.
Okay.
The article made a really interesting point about how building stronger muscles can actually make you a better runner.
Now that's something I need to hear more about.
Okay.
I've always been a bit intimidated by the weight room.
Yeah.
How does lifting weights translate to better running?
Well, think of it this way.
Okay.
Stronger muscles provide better support for your joints.
Okay.
Which is essential for injury prevention.
Right.
Plus, when your muscles are stronger, they can generate more power.
Okay.
Meaning you can run faster and farther with less effort.
Okay. That makes sense. So it's not just about bulking up.
Right.
It's about building functional strength that complements my running.
Exactly.
Okay.
And remember, the article also cautions against falling for those quick fixes like supplements or fad diets.
Yeah.
There's no substitute for discipline and consistency when it comes to achieving your fitness goals.
Well, I think we've covered just about every nugget of wisdom from that rockingultra.com article.
I think so.
At least for now. But remember, this is just a taste of what they have to offer.
Right.
Head over to their blog or check out their books on Amazon.
Yes.
For a full serving of running insights and inspiration.
It's a great resource.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll be back in part 2 to continue unpacking this fascinating connection between running and weight loss.
Can't wait.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Welcome back to part 2 of our deep dive into the world of running and weight loss. Remember, we're using our AI voices to, give you the highlights from these articles from the fantastic blog, rockingultra.com. They've got so many great articles, whether you're just getting into running or want to push yourself further if you're already out there, pounding the pavement.
Yeah.
And we're just scratching the surface here.
Right.
So make sure to check out your blog for the full scoop or even grab one of their books on Amazon.
Yeah. They've got some great resources.
Yeah, they really do. They go deep. Now, before we get sidetracked,
Okay.
let's pick up where we left off. We were talking about those common pitfalls that runners, especially those, aiming to manage their weight, should watch out for.
Right.
One of the biggies the article highlighted was this misconception that running gives you a free pass to eat anything you want.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
We touched on this earlier.
Yeah.
But it's worth, reiterating.
For sure.
Running burns calories, yes, but it doesn't magically erase the effects of a poor diet.
No, it doesn't.
It's like thinking you can outrun a bad diet.
Yeah.
I wish it were that easy.
Me too.
What was the other pitfall the article mentioned?
The other one was neglecting strength training.
Okay.
The article made a really interesting point about how building stronger muscles can actually make you a better runner.
I'm all ears. I'll admit, I've always been a bit intimidated by the weight room.
Oh, yeah.
What's the connection between strength training and running?
Well, think of it this way. Stronger muscles provide better support for your joints.
Okay.
And that's crucial for preventing those, nagging running injuries.
Yeah. It's like having built-in shock absorbers for your knees, ankles, and hips.
Right.
And, since we were talking about weight management, strength training can help you build lean muscle mass, which can increase your metabolism and help you burn more calories even when you're not running.
So it's not just about bulking up.
No.
It's about building that functional strength.
Right.
That supports your running and helps you manage your weight.
Exactly. And it can even improve your running form and efficiency, which can lead to faster times and a more enjoyable experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And the article also cautioned against relying on quick fixes like supplements or fad diets.
Yeah, those never seem to work in the long run, but sometimes it's tempting to look for those shortcuts.
I know, it's so tempting.
But
the article really emphasizes the importance of discipline and consistency when it comes to achieving your fitness goals, whether it's weight loss, running a marathon, or just feeling healthier and stronger.
It's like building a house.
Yeah, you need a solid foundation and a plan to get to that finished product.
Exactly.
You can't just slap it together and expect it to last.
Right.
So with that in mind, let's do a quick recap of the key points we've covered so far from this rockingultra.com article.
Okay.
What are the main takeaways for our listeners?
Well, the overarching theme is that weight management and running are interconnected.
Okay.
Running can help you lose weight, and losing weight can make running easier and more enjoyable.
Right.
But as we've discussed, it's not as simple as just lacing up your shoes and watching the pounds melt away.
Right. It takes work.
Yeah.
It's about taking a holistic approach.
Yeah.
That combines smart nutrition, a gradual increase in running intensity, prioritizing recovery, and celebrating those non-scale victories along the way.
Exactly.
Like having more energy or feeling less stressed.
Yes. Those are important too.
Totally.
It's about making sustainable lifestyle changes that support both your physical and mental well-being.
And remember, folks, this deep dive is just a glimpse into the vast knowledge base that rockingultra.com has to offer.
Right.
They have so many articles about everything running, from training plans to injury prevention to nutrition advice.
It's like a treasure trove for runners of all levels.
It is.
From beginners to seasoned marathoners.
So if you're feeling inspired to learn more, I highly recommend, paying them a visit.
Absolutely.
And don't forget about their books available on Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
They go even deeper into these topics.
Definitely.
So we've talked about the what and the how.
Okay.
But let's end this part of the deep dive with a thought-provoking question.
Right.
Based on the article's insights, think about this.
Okay.
What's one small change you can make today to improve your running experience?
That's a good question.
It could be anything from swapping out that sugary sports drink for water, adding a few minutes of strength training to your routine, or simply focusing on running for enjoyment rather than obsessing over pace or distance. Small changes can lead to big results over time.
Absolutely.
I love that.
It's all about those little steps.
Yeah. It's empowering to realize that we have the power to make those positive changes one step at a time. And remember, you don't have to figure this out alone. rockingultra.com has a ton of resources to guide you on your journey.
Yeah.
So what are you waiting for?
Right.
Lace up those shoes, embrace the challenge, and most importantly, have fun out there.
Have fun.
And we'll be back in part 3 to wrap things up and share some final thoughts.
Yes. Sounds good.
All right, runners, welcome back. It's the final stretch of our deep dive into the world of running and weight management, all inspired by those great articles over on rockingultra.com. Remember, you've been hearing from us, your AI guides, talking about the connection between those two, the importance of nutrition and even, those little tweaks that can make your running journey a lot smoother. But you know what really brings all of this home is how these insights connect to your experience.
Yeah.
So let's open up the track to some listener questions.
That's what I love about these deep dives. It's not just, absorbing the information, it's about applying it to your own life. And who knows, maybe someone out there has a question that sparks, a whole new avenue of exploration.
Exactly. All right, first question up. This comes from Sarah, who's been battling the motivation monster. She asks, I know running is good for me, but I just can't seem to get myself out the door. Any tips for finding that spark?
Sarah, you're not alone. RockingUltra.com actually has a bunch of articles dedicated to this very struggle, but one thing that they really emphasize is that motivation often follows action. Sometimes the hardest part is simply, putting on your shoes and stepping outside.
It's like that saying, just start.
Yeah.
Once you get moving, the motivation catches up. I've definitely found that to be true for myself.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to experiment a bit. Maybe you need a running buddy for accountability or a killer playlist to pump you up or a scenic route that just makes the miles fly by. It's all about finding what works for you.
Great advice. Okay, next question is from John, who's training for his first marathon. He asks, how do I know if I'm pushing myself hard enough without risking injury?
That's a smart question, John, and it's where listening to your body becomes super crucial. RockingUltra.com really emphasizes that consistency trumps intensity, especially when you're building up to a big race like a marathon.
Like the tortoise and the hare.
Yes.
Slow and steady wins the race. I think sometimes we get caught up in this, go hard or go home mentality.
Yeah.
But it's really about finding that sustainable pace that you can maintain over time.
Exactly. And remember that conversational pace we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
That's a good guideline. If you're so out of breath that you can't chat with a running buddy, you're probably pushing too hard.
And don't forget about those rest days, John.
Yes.
They're just as important as your training runs. Give your body a chance to recover and get stronger.
Absolutely. Rest is when the magic happens. Your body needs time to repair those tiny muscle tears and build itself back up stronger than before.
All right, we've got time for one more question. This one comes from Maria, who's curious about pre-run snacks. She asks, what are some good pre-run snacks that won't weigh me down?
Well, remember how RockingUltra.com, stressed the importance of small, balanced meals. The same principle applies to pre-run snacks. You want something that provides sustained energy without upsetting your stomach.
So no greasy burgers before a 5-miler.
Probably not the best idea. Think about, easily digestible carbs combined with a bit of protein and healthy fats. A banana with almond butter or a handful of trail mix or even a rice cake with avocado are all good options.
And Maria, don't be afraid to experiment a bit to see what works best for you. Every runner is different.
That's so important. What fuels one person's run might completely derail another's. It's all about finding what works for your body and your individual needs.
Well, that brings us to the end of our RockingUltra.com special. We've covered a lot of ground, the interplay between running and weight management, nutrition tips, and even tackled some listener questions. And remember, this was just a taste of what RockingUltra.com has to offer. For the full feast of running knowledge, head over to their website or grab one of their books.
Yeah, they go deep. We've only scratched the surface here, folks, but hopefully this deep dive has, sparked your curiosity and inspired you to take your running journey to the next level. Whether you're aiming for weight loss, a PR, or simply the joy of moving your body, remember that every step counts.
And don't forget to celebrate those non-scale victories along the way. The increased energy, the mental clarity, the feeling of accomplishment, those are the real rewards of running. So lace up those shoes, embrace the challenge, and most importantly, have fun out there. Until next time, happy running.